All right, it is 9:46. I was watching WLAN for a while, but it just didn't really work out that nicely. This was in theory a symmetrical triangle, and it kind of it legitimizes any breakout setups when the stock is up on a gap up like it is right here. But in theory, I was watching it, and it did break the upper part of it for a while, but then it kind of sold off. And I'm watching it now. At this point, I really wouldn't be that interested in trading it unless it drops with considerable volume and it does something clean, and that could be a setup. It just wasn't able to break the 88 range up here and really continue the uptrend, but maybe I'll try to do it now. Perhaps this one is downtrending, but it doesn't have any volume, so I never traded it. ALTX just had a little dip right here in the morning, and then it came back. So this one's okay. It just trades with a really wide spread, so I'm not that interested in trading it. This one is not shortable on Schwab, and there's no clear, dip buy opportunity unless maybe it drops like $4 or something in the same day. Nothing with GTII, and yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. I'll be looking for more setups. Also, CRTD did offer something, but this one is also kind of weird the way it trades. It kind of broke this upper range right here of 141 or 142, and it did make a move to the 150s, and it's kind of come back. So yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. We'll be looking at CRTD and WLAN. All right, it is 10:12. I got out of a trade with ATLX, and I want to see if this thing can uptrend over a longer period of time, and maybe it can get to the 25s. It could get to VWAP or maybe a bit higher, but I just didn't like how many sellers there were at the ask, and people were just dumping their shares at the bid. But I mean, this thing might do this little breakout like it did right here, consolidate or maybe downtrend a little bit, and then it turns around, and it can be a super nice move. I did trade this one, and I was lucky to get filled. I was watching this overall downtrend. It was kind of hard to draw trend lines because this one doesn't have that much. I guess it's not really that fluid. So I did my best to draw a trend line that seemed to be following the overall price action, and I was watching it, and I was liking it when it was around right here in the 237-ish level. But the problem was is that there was a big 2 million share seller that would show up at the ask at 239, and that wasn't ideal. Although there was a big bidder, I think it was at 228, 2 million share bidder that was at 2 million share seller at the ask as well. And it was like a red flag, like, oh yeah, it looked like it was going to turn around, but that big seller is right there, and that's not going to let it uptrend because nobody wants to take on that big seller. But actually, somebody did, and as you can see, there's a big volume candle right here, the most volume it traded the entire day in this minute right here. It was a pretty quick move when I saw the big seller at the ask got taken out immediately just in one piece. It wasn't like he was being shipped away. It was all in one piece. I placed the order. I wasn't able to get all the shares I wanted, but I still got a decent amount. 10,000 shares out of the 15,000 I wanted at 239. I was in at 10:08. So right here, right when it broke past that big seller at 230, yeah, 238 or 239. I think it was 239. And once it got taken out, it did uptrend immediately, which I assumed. And then it just felt like it dried up. You can see the volume is not even like what it was before when it was downtrending. So I didn't like that too much. I did sell half of my position at 244. That was at 1010 right here because I didn't draw it, but I could see by just drawing a trend line from the first candle before the uptrend to the first one after the uptrend, it already broke past. I guess I didn't break past it actually. I guess it broke past it here, but I thought it would have broken past it right then and there. And I guess maybe if I were to draw a wider range one like this one, I could still be in the position perhaps. I do feel like I sold everything a bit too early. And then I sold the rest at 10:12, so at least I did give it like 2 more minutes right here. And I sold the rest. So I want to see if it can, wipe out all the sellers at the ask, which actually seems to be the case. I don't see those big sellers anymore. But yeah, this one was pretty interesting. I think in the future, if I were to trade the same setup, I should sell half on the quick uptrend, and then have a trend line like this, not so aggressive trend line, something a little more laid back like this, and just have that as a guide. And then if that breaks, that could be something to take into consideration for a sell, especially because it was showing that it followed the trend lines here, not perfectly, but that was totally the case. And it looks like, if this thing really closes and finishes right there, I would probably sell the other half. So if I had to guess, this thing could uptrend a lot over a longer period of time. It might also just fail, but I'm glad to have taken that setup. It worked out. Didn't get all the shares I wanted, but I got most of it. Nothing with CNNA, no volume. This one isn't doing much. This one, I guess, made a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, and the shoulder, but the range isn't that nice. It's a bit choppy. And GTII looks like it's trying to break 370. Like, almost like a ascending triangle, but I mean, it would have broken it by now. They could do something like that. Yeah. That's pretty much it for right now. I'll make an update later. This one never really broke above this 88 sub-penny level, even when I drew this trend line right here. It kind of sold off after it broke under it. That's it for right now. I'll make an update later, if not when the market is closed. Alright, it is 10:22. I just want to record how crazy the price action is. We just had a few blips to 26, but now we have a big seller with a million shares at 245. Yeah, it seems like this is the case with the OTCs right now. They just don't seem to be that fluid looking. But this was a really interesting one, and yeah, I just wanted to know how freaky the price action is. I thought worst case scenario it was gonna drop to 18, which seems a bit much, but this thing trades with a bit of a spread, and I thought worst case scenario, I'm in the setup right here at 230. I think it was 238 when I got in actually. Yeah, I got in at 238. It just doesn't show where I got filled because this was a partial fill and it got canceled. I thought worst case it was gonna break the day low at 233 and then panic, and then with a wide spread, you can see here it drops from 29 as low as 25. So I thought it wasn't too crazy to consider it could just continue the panic with some actual volume, especially after having a run up and get that low with slippage and everything. Maybe a little too far away from what I should have thought worst case scenario was, but yeah, I'll make an update as to what this one does eventually. I don't see any setups right now. Alright, it is 9:18 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I'm going to be up on a day $7.25. One trade with ALTX, and I didn't get the full amount of shares, which would have brought it to $100 risk level, but that's totally fine. It was a good attempt for what it was. It was a trend line break right here, and I actually missed out on the big one. So this one looked pretty big at the time, but this one clearly made a much bigger move, and this one had a larger volume candle as well. It didn't necessarily break a trend line for a reversal in this case. I mean, if you could draw one, it kind of, maybe actually it breaks one just going by this part right here. I do like how it was following it, and then it broke out of it, but then it came back, consolidated a bit. This could have trapped some dip buyers right here, and then it sells off with extreme volume, and then once it started to turn around, maybe a late entry at 208, and then it gets as high as 235, which is VWAP. That would have been a pretty nice move, at least 10%. So yeah, that's pretty much the case with today. This one didn't really get to VWAP. It just, I mean, it technically did here, but it wasn't like a consistent move towards VWAP like this one right here, which is still not that nice. It doesn't have that fluidity in it. CNNA doesn't really have volume, never traded it. MMTLP, nothing interesting today, although it is downtrending a bit, but I don't know. There's nothing, it's not like a big $3 or $4 drop, and then that's a great dip buy opportunity. If it just wants to sell off slowly, I guess it's going to be able to do that. Nothing with CRTD other than the fact that maybe this triple bottom setup, a dip here, and then this is a triple bottom, or you can call it the double bottom, just looking at this point under VWAP after it's shown itself that it could spike. Not too bad. Maybe this could have been a setup right here. a late entry at 133. It got as high as 147, or I guess a more realistic sell in a 140, so not that much range. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I'm happy I had that one trade with ATLX, and I'm glad there was an even better one that happened. It wasn't like I was trading every single setup out there that existed. There were better ones like this one right here. That's all for today.